We're back with another video. So I'm still doing my quote-unquote homework videos, and the video before this one was BlazBlue Alternative Dark War. I don't think I've gotten all the ideas I wanted to because there's some things I missed in that video, but I wanted to do some quote-unquote Bloodedge experience homework. I know the Bloodedge experience novels aren't translated at all, but it doesn't hurt to look at the wiki to learn more about characters. So I decided to go with Naoto first since he is the main protagonist of BlazBlue Bloodedge experience. So we're going to start from the wiki and just go through all of it. We're not going to go all of it, just mostly his overview and his biography and maybe some trivia on the side, just to, learn some things, because I don't check the wiki out as much as I want to. Anyway, Naoto Kurogane, also known as Naoto Terumi, yeah, you're going to get used to me saying that a lot to this video, is the servant of Raquel Alucard and heir to the Terumi branch of the Amano Hokasaka clan, signified by his ownership of the Eye of the Hunter. I will try to look up more stuff about the Amano Hokasaka family and the Eye of the Hunter as I go through this. Naoto is the older brother of Saya Terumi and a cousin to Haruka Hayami. Naoto was saved from his possibility into that of the BlazBlue world to save his own. And I'm not gonna read that part because we already know he's the main protagonist. Just look at this boy. Look at the boy. Yeah, look at the boy. As of BlazBlue Alternative Dark War, get a good look at the boy. All right. So let's pass this one. Okay, personality. A man trying to lead a normal and peaceful life, Naoto has had harsh circumstances thrown his way, shaping him into the person he is now. Despite the tragedies in his life, such as having lost most of his family, Naoto never lets the trauma surface and instead aims to live a normal life. Regardless, Naoto can never stop himself from helping those in trouble, even if it means disrupting his ordinary life. There are times when he doesn't think out of his goodwill of actions, diving headfirst into any situation where he can think he can help others. He likes to avoid conflict in people and prefer taking 30-minute walks to school instead of getting the bus, since it would mean less interaction. He is not antisocial, but just dislikes crowds. Hey, that's my boy right there. There are times where Naoto can be socially awkward and not know what to do, but most of the time it's because he has been thrown into a ridiculously abnormal situation. Despite Saya Terumi having ruined his life, he still loves his younger sister and will protect her from anyone who would harm her. His cousin Haruka Hayami is another important factor in Naoto's life, but it is Raquel Alucard who has made the biggest impact. The young vampire often gets on Naoto's nerves and sometimes treats as less than human, but the two are as close as they can be, sharing a tight bond. For any of these women, including his aunt Yuki Hayami, Naoto will go far of his way to take on any odds for them. In his spare time, Naoto likes watching cats and playing video games, including those in the visual novel genre. Hey, look, I'm Naoto Kurogane. Alright, let's go look at some information on him, because we gotta do that. Naoto Kurogane, birthday, December 1st. Species, human formerly, because he used to be human. Voice actress, Nobunaga Shimazaki. He's voiced by Billy Kametz in the English version. I believe Billy Kametz, or whatever you want to say his name, he did a very good job voicing Naoto, so I really did believe it. Blood type B, height 176 centimeters and 69 kilograms. Hair color brown. I'm not going to do the things that are obvious. And obviously his drive is Bloodedge. He was born in Japan. His likes are rest. Damn, that's pretty. See, Naoto is the most relatable BlazBlue character to me. He's the most human. I remember out of all this joking stuff, Naoto feels like a human being just thrown to the BlazBlue world. I feel for him. Dislikes eye drops because it's hard to use them. Hobbies: admiring cats, and his affiliations are with the Amano Hokasaka clan, the Alucard clan, and the Shin Kawahama First High School. All right. So we're gonna talk about his power abilities, and then we're gonna get onto his biography. So yeah, we're gonna have to go do that. Powers and techniques. Naoto was taught by his mother in the way of her family's martial arts, excelling in them. As a member of the Amano Hokasaka clan, he is also versed in exorcism, but is nowhere near the level of the main family. There are two powers that truly define Naoto: the Eye of the Hunter and his drive Bloodedge. The Eye allows him to see the life force of every living thing, be it human, kaka, vampire, or otherwise. Having an eye for all his life, Naoto can read the runes that the values are presented in and can gauge the health and strength of others by reading them. Bloodedge is Naoto's main weapon he uses frequently to fight his opponents. By using his own blood and hardening it, Naoto can create various weapons to fight his enemies. His arsenal usually includes a katana, a two-handed scythe, a large scythe, an axe, my bad. A two-handed axe, a large scythe, and an extendable amount of blood that he uses a fashion similar to a whip. Whenever Naoto uses his drive, his hair turns white and his eyes turn red, but as with BlazBlue Central Fiction, this is only the case when he truly taps into his power to fight. He can create many shapes with his blood, even making a head similar to that of the Black Beast. I wonder if that has some plot significance. Because of his contract with Raquel, Naoto borders on the immortal, but only when she is around. They share the same life force, and hers is far beyond more than most humans. This gives Naoto an ability normally unique to vampires called regeneration, which means all wounds sustained will patch themselves up effortlessly. You know, I always wondered, like, if I ever had the ability to like regenerate instantly and like have my arm attach itself, like, wouldn't it feel weird? You know, I mean, I get my arm back, but I still feel the pain from that. But anyway, because his right arm is made of vampire blood, and thanks to the sorcery installed in it from Clavis, Naoto has the physical strength of a vampire. This is easily demonstrated when he killed an apostle, and I'll get into an apostle in a minute, with a single blow. For an unknown reason, Naoto can subconsciously create fog from his body to replace missing limbs. As strong as Naoto is, he still has his weaknesses. Without Raquel, Naoto loses regeneration and his right arm disintegrates back into blood. He is also a 3-time amputee, and his replacement limbs have some movement restrictions. Now, I want to say this before I even get to his biography part. Naoto not only lost his arm, but he also lost both his legs. Wait. Yeah, he lost one of his arms and both of his legs. I think Valkyrie crushed both of his legs. And that's effed up. So he has, like, you know, he has a Bloodedge arm and robo legs. So there's that. Naoto also has a lack of real fighting experience and relies on his drive to fight tough opponents, which can make him predictable. Now, we can't look at the history of his relatives and whatnot, because this will be important later. So there's the Azure Shrine main, who's a character in BlazBlue, and X-Blaze, I think. And so we'll screw that down for that. And then we lead to the Amano Hokasaka family. And as I mentioned before, the Amano Hokasaka family has 4 branch families underneath there. There's the Terumi family, the Hajo family, the Hikagami family, and the Kagatatsu family. Now, the only thing we're really going to really look into is like just the Terumi side of the things, because like there's Naoto's father, who was a main Terumi family member, and there's Naoto's mother, who, considering that the name Yuki Hayami is a thing, I'm only going to guess that Naoto's mother's last name is Hayami as well. So there's Naoto's mother, and her sister is Yuki Hayami, and then she has a daughter named Haruka Hayami. And, well, I mean, I'm dumb. My bad. I forgot. Naoto's mother's last name was Kurogane. I'm stupid. I forgot. As I scrolled down, I was like, wait a minute. Damn it. I forgot Kurogane. I'm so stupid. I wasn't thinking. Damn. Okay, my bad. Naoto's mother's last name is Kurogane. I guess Yuki. Considering Yuki has a daughter, I guess that Hayami was her husband's last name. So that's the only way I can, interpret that. And Naoto's father's was Terumi, and there's Saya Terumi that comes out of that. So, Saya Terumi being Naoto's sister. We can go back I'm not going to look at much of the Amano Hokasaka family, because they'll probably their own video in the future. There's also Tenjo, Homura, etc., etc. Let's look at the trivia before we get to the bio, because I really actually want to talk about some trivia about Naoto. So, let's see this first trivia. In the BlazBlue 10th anniversary character poll, Naoto placed 19th out of 84 candidates. He scored 1 place above Bullet and 1 place below Nine the Phantom. He had 1,296 votes. Naoto's birthday is on the Day of Iron, likely referring to his last name, which can be written as Black Iron, Kurogane, like Kuro, Black, Gane, Steel, or Iron. Naoto's move list seems to have a naming theme around dark imagery, but there is no concrete connection between the names. Like, I like this. I see Naoto, it's like he has moves like Banishing Fang. There's Banishing Fang, Divine Reaper, Divine Smasher, Edge of Eternity. Yeah, it's like a divine aspect to it, but it's not much. It defeated, Naoto may either call out Haruka or Raquel's name. I actually heard him mention Haruka's name in Cross Tag Battle. Damn, freaking brain. Azrael believes that Naoto has the potential to become far stronger than he currently is, even sparing him in his win quotes to see how Naoto will turn out. He probably saw the Ragna and was like, yes, Ragna! Several people in BlazBlue Central Fiction remind Naoto of his friends and family back home. Rachel Alucard reminds him of Raquel Alucard, obviously. Makoto Nania reminds him of Haruka Hayami. Nu and Lambda remind him of Kuro Hikagami, which is obvious. And Izanami reminds him of Saya Terumi, which is also obvious. Naoto could have taken his father's name, Terumi, but instead chose to honor his mother by taking her maiden name, Kurogane. I bet Mori found a way. It's like, man, if I called him Naoto Terumi, how would this work? He wanted Terumi, Yuki Terumi, to be the only Terumi. Anyway, Naoto's normal eye color is inconsistent across portrayals. Some official artworks have given him green eyes, and others with brown. When using Bloodedge, however, they are always red. Like, imagine like freaking like Naoto's walking around with green eyes. Like, oh shit. It's just like Ragna. Alright, so now we're going to go on to his biography, and I think that's going to be the longest part of this video. Alright folks, we are here at the longest part of the video, Naoto Kurogane's biography. Naoto was born as the heir to the Terumi clan, a branch of the Amano Hokusaka clan, and has a little sister, Saya Terumi. As Naoto grew up, his mother taught him martial arts, and he grew close to her. Like the main Amano Hokusaka family members, Naoto, as a branch member, was taught exorcism. As a young boy, Naoto watched Saya inherit the Soul Eater drive and was driven insane by its power. She murdered his entire family before she was detained by Mei Amano Hokusaka. Naoto lost all his immediate family as Saya was kept in the main Amano Hokusaka household. Yuki Hayami, Naoto's aunt, took him in. He attended a middle school in Shinkawahama City where he met Shinosuke Fukuda. Naoto soon transferred to Shinkawahama First High School, and Yuki became his landlady, renting out her apartments to him with rent so small it was essentially free. Man, like that's freaking awesome. Just rent. She just gives him a free apartment. Epic. Haruka and Naoto grew closer and closer as they grew up together. All memories with Saya were forcibly blocked out by Naoto, the trauma of losing his family being too much. Man, poor Naoto. Poor Naoto, he just goes through some shit. Like, he lost his whole family, and now it all comes back to him as he grows up. Anyway, Bloodedge Experience, Part 1. In October, Naoto was woken up by Haruka, who teased him about the numerous games he had in his room, all lent to him by Shinosuke. After getting raided, the two of them walked to school together instead of catching the bus. He was suddenly caught in Phenomena Intervention. Wow, it's like, yay, I'm chilling out, walking to school, Phenomena Intervention, boom! He was suddenly caught in Phenomena Intervention as all the people around him had suddenly disappeared and a little girl stood nearby. That little girl is actually Rachel Alucard. Anyway, she tried to say something but quickly disappeared and the world returned to normal for Naoto. Arriving in school after having met Shinosuke and putting up with his antics, Naoto had geography with both him and Haruka. They were taught by Tadayuki Issa, who lost his temper with Naoto for not paying attention, but only the boy thought something was wrong with his teacher after seeing his ridiculously low life force. Concerned, Naoto stayed back to check on Tadayuki, but eventually gave up and walked home alone. As he did, he saw an apostle chase after a young girl with the highest life force he had ever seen. He followed the two of them into an abandoned district. He met the girl and she punched him when she mentioned her small chest. The apostle grabbed the girl by the throat and Naoto ran away, coming back with a fire extinguisher and knocking the apostle over the head, killing him. God damn, Naoto just like freaking beat the shit out of him with that. Beat the shit out with a fire extinguisher. Holy shit. Anyway, an insect emerged from the body and lunged at the girl. Naoto stood in the way and the bug cut off his arm. Dying from blood loss, Naoto was held by the girl. She introduced herself as Raquel Alucard and bit him, turning him into her servant, and asked that he helped her find the Azure. Ooh, the Azure. Waking up in his apartment, Naoto thought the events of the day before was all a dream. He saw his life force value in the mirror. Okay, so I didn't know that Naoto could see his own life force value. That's one thing I didn't know. That's one thing I did not know. He could actually look at his own life force value, huh? See, I only thought he could see his people, but I guess it's kind of interesting. He could look in the mirror and see his own. I never knew that, huh? Anyway, saw Raquel in his living room and screamed. She explained what happened to him in his condition. In 1 year, Naoto will become a vampire unless he finds the Azure. Fun fact, there was like I think one of the side stories, where I think it was like one of the little side stories they had for BlazBlue Calamity Trigger, where in one timeline, Raquel bit Ragna, sharing some of her blood, and I don't know if he turned into a vampire or was in the progress of turning one. So it's nice to see this thing kind of come around again. I like that. I mean, Bloodedge Experience is kind of old, but still I like learning about it. Raquel explained that they were sharing her life force, and that his new arm was made from her blood. Haruka found the two of them together, and Raquel used Slave Red to convince her that they were related. Slave Red is an ability that Rachel has, or I guess all Alucard family members have. Although I don't know if Plavis even has. I don't think he does. But Rachel has an ability known as Slave Red, which pretty much just it's mind control. It's not. I guess it's not full on mind control. It's just like look, I cast this. You look in my eyes, do this thing, think this thing, or shit like that. Both Naoto and Raquel went to the abandoned district and noticed everything from the previous day had vanished. The corpse, blood, and Naoto's arm. Raquel explained that she needed Naoto to defeat Spinner Superior, a mage who had come close to the Azure and was searching for her. The pair walked together to a local park and Raquel sunk into Naoto's shadow. The boy walked to a vending machine before being picked up and thrown into a concrete wall by a stranger. The man killed Naoto twice, but he was revived by Raquel's life force. That sucks. Not only Naoto just can't chill, he can't go to school normally, right? He can't go to school normally. He leaves the next day. He goes to school. Then he gets he gets his arm cut off, right? And then not only that, he gets killed twice the next day. And then now he's like about to become a vampire. Naoto's life sucks. Like, damn, everyone who shares the name Bloodedge in any way, just ugh. Anyway, the man killed Naoto twice, but he was revived by Raquel's life force. Before the man could continue his assault, his partner stopped him and they introduced themselves as Valkenhayn R. Helsing and Aurelius Clover. Valkenhayn left angry that he could not kill Naoto. You killed him twice, damn it. He's like, damn, I want to kill you all the way. The boy stood up and Aurelius taught him some techniques on fighting immortals before leaving with advice for Raquel. Naoto and Raquel continued to search for the remnants of the Azure that Spinner had left throughout the city, but gave up and returned home. As they walked in, they were met by Clavis Alucard. Oh, look, the picture of her. Like, I wonder who that blonde lady is. She's Kiro Hikagami, but anyway. Clavis welcomed the two into the apartment and explained that Haruka was asleep in the other room. He scolded his daughter and told Naoto not to be so nervous. The vampire grabbed the boy's right arm and marveled at it before... Sorry, the vampire grabbed the boy's right arm and marveled at it before cutting it off. He then reattached the arm, making it work better for Naoto. Before they could continue, Valkenhayn and Aurelius bust into the apartment and battled Clavis. The entire apartment was destroyed after the brawl, with the exception of the kitchen, because of course it was. After checking on Haruka, a woman walked into the apartment and grabbed Naoto's hands, putting them on her chest. She introduced herself as Kiro Hikagami, a woman from the Mitsurugi Agency, and she explained the organization's goal to him, which she thought was fishy. She then left after explaining that the agency were hunting Clavis and asking what Naoto's drive is, which confused him. Now, again, keep in mind, Naoto, he started out his day pretty normal. He gets caught in phenomenal intervention. Then he leaves school. Then fights this apostle. Then a bug cuts his arm off. Then he meets a vampire girl who pretty much gives him some of her blood and says, hey, bruh, you're gonna become a vampire if you don't help me find this Azure. And he's like, what? And then he leaves the next day, try to go to the vending machine to go get some drinks or something. And then he gets killed twice by a werewolf dude. And then not only that, he comes back to his home to see a vampire in a wheelchair in his house. Right? He comes back to see a vampire in his house. And then freaking the dudes from earlier, the werewolf dude and the masked dude from earlier, bust into his house. His house gets destroyed. And then, like, shit. And then he meets some crazy chick. And I'm like, damn, Naoto just, he can't catch a break. Boy. As his apartment was destroyed, Naoto moved up to Haruka's with Raquel, because of course he did. After falling asleep on Haruka's lap, because of course he did, Naoto awoke at midnight and the two nearly shared a kiss, because of course he did, only to be interrupted by Raquel and Yuki, who had come home from work, because of course he did. Both Haruka and Raquel went to bed, leaving Naoto with his aunt, who teased him about what nearly happened and warned him about the Mitsurugi Agency. Oh shit, Yuki knows about the Mitsurugi Agency? Oh god, oh f, oh shit. The following day, Raquel had enrolled in Shin Kawahama First High School and made Naoto's life difficult. She demanded he make her tea, called him her servant, talked about theories of sorcery, and stripped when she learned PE was on the syllabus. They went to the back of the school, and Naoto watched as Raquel cast a sorcery circle to try and find drive users within the school and detect remnants of Azure. They were met by Shinosuke, who teased them, and then Kana Kirishima, the school's Students' Council's vice president, so hard to say that at once, who sent Shinosuke on his way. She talked to Naoto about his relationship with Haruka and left. Raquel noticed that the girl had remnants of Azure on her, and the duo decided to investigate the vice president. In the morning, Naoto asked Haruka questions about Kana. The following day at school, Naoto continued to ask questions and met Kana again. Raquel asked if she knew Spinner, but confused the girl and she left. After school had ended, they shadowed Kana as she entered an adult store. Oh my, oh god, oh f. The situation was largely embarrassing for Naoto since Raquel was uneducated in the area that the store specializes in. After Raquel gathered the information, they followed after, I can't. They went to an adult store. Oh god, I can only imagine how that turned out. Anyway, after Raquel gathered the information, they followed after Kana, finding her in an abandoned apartment complex. The vice president, why do I keep saying, every time I look at the word vice president, my brain just flatlines. Holy shit. The vice president broke down in front of them and explained that Tadayuki had been coercing her into sexual acts, and now his sights were set on Haruka. Well, that's wrong. Tadayuki was not in his apartment, but Raquel had located him at the school and confirmed that he had become an apostle. Both Naoto and Raquel rushed over to save Haruka from the teacher. So, like, did he become like a pedophile, like, after he became an apostle, or was he always one? At the school, Naoto burst through the student council doors and slugged Tadayuki, who was attempting to forcibly strip Haruka. She began to cry in Naoto's arms and fell unconscious. He carried her to a bench and put his jacket over her. Turning back to Tadayuki, Naoto taunted him, telling the teacher that he was going to beat him into the ground. Large beetle legs suddenly erupted from Tadayuki's back, and the two began to fight until the teacher targeted Raquel and Haruka. Naoto threw himself in front of the legs and it pierced through his stomach. Unfazed, Naoto threw his legs back and thought about the death of his mother, triggering the activation of his drive, Bloodedge. Bloodedge awakens. Bloodedge. Bloodedge. Using Bloodedge, Naoto cut down Tadayuki but left him alive. The Mitsurugi agency arrived moments later with Kiro leading the charge. Naoto expressed a desire for his teacher to be saved from his condition, and Kiro agreed to using why are my brains flatlining so easily? Goddamn, I am not. Let me say this. I am not a good reader. I suck at reading. Like my mind just kind of confuses words together at times, and it gets me. Using the resources necessary, and also stated that she would erase Kana and Tadayuki's memories. What do you mean? What do you mean erasing Tadayuki's memories? He ain't dead from those legs busting out of his ass. Anyway, the corridor of the school was then filled with darkness, and the agency squadron was instantly killed by it. From the shadows rose Spinner himself, who threw Naoto into the nearest wall. Before Spinner could kill Naoto, Kiro intervened, and it was only thanks to Raquel's persuasion that the mage left. When Raquel and Naoto walked home, the boy discovered that she told Spinner that he could have her if he could defeat Naoto. Stunned, the boy swore at her and called her an idiot. God damn it, Raquel. The following day at school, everything returned to normal as Kiro had promised. Tadayuki had been given a temporary retirement, and Kana had returned to her duties with no recollection of what had happened. Kiro met Naoto in a luxurious hotel and explained more on the situation. On Sunday, Naoto, Raquel, and Haruka returned to the boys' apartment, which had been fixed 3 days prior. The doorbell rang, but before Naoto could leave, he was kissed by Haruka, her first kiss. Oh, Lord. Like, not only this shit, they had, like Mori could not escape the incest. He just couldn't. He just couldn't escape the incest. Like, yep, let's get these cousins to kiss each other. And like, they're all related. Like, it's not some bullshit where like freaking Ragna's sisters are clones and shit right there. But like Haruka is his actual aunt. I mean, sorry, my aunt, my bad. His actual cousin, like his blood-related cousin. God damn it. Anyway, a little phased, Haruka opened the door and called for Naoto. Standing in the entrance was Saya Terumi. Stunned, Naoto allowed Saya into the apartment, and Haruka offered her tea. He could not ask his sister's questions about what she had done. Why am I reading this wrong? He could not ask his sister questions about how she was allowed free, as Haruka was not aware of what Saya had done. It was only when she had left with Raquel that Naoto finally asked what his sister was up to. She gave him a letter from May and then lunged for his throat and held him up against the wall. Saya activated Soul Eater, but the battle was cut short by Raquel, who had sensed something wrong. Saya gave up and left after a brief battle with the vampire, claiming that she had only come to deliver the letter, also telling her brother that she was coming for the Eye of the Hunter. Naoto read its contents, which was essentially May insulting him for having been killed by Valkenheim, and that she could no longer contain Saya. On Monday, Naoto and Raquel continued to look for remnants within the school grounds. Eventually, the young vampire demonstrated her frustration with Naoto for not having told her about Saya, let alone that she was the current possessor of Soul Eater. He explained to her the incident that had occurred that wiped out the Terumi branch and about the Hokasaka clan. Afterwards, they talked about Kiro and her heartbeat being in synchronization with Naoto's. They were found by Shinosuke and Kana, who were working the school festival. Raquel talked Naoto into training so he could prepare for his eventual fight with Spinner. At night, Naoto and Raquel slipped out of the apartment but were caught by Yuki. They fabricated a poor lie to her about going to a bookshop, but she let them leave anyway. Now at 1 a.m. on the Tuesday, Naoto... I'm sorry, it's a whole other... 1 a.m. on a Tuesday. Anyway... Naoto and Raquel were tracked down by an apostle. With Raquel's assistance, Naoto landed a deadly blow to his head, killing him instantly. Goddamn, Naoto just... Naoto just goes straight for the head, man. He's like, I ain't playing, go straight for the head. Every time. Anyway, the Mitsurugi agency came around at 3 a.m. to deal with the corpse of the apostle. Naoto and Raquel returned to the apartment, and the boy thought of having a bath until he was interrupted by the vampire. She demanded that he clean her, because of course she did, and despite his protests, Naoto agreed. She revealed to him that the reason why he had become so strong was because he was progressing into a vampire. But it was thanks to Clavis' earlier work that he was gaining strength more quickly, yet his progression was still stagnant. Cool. How convenient. The following morning, the trio of Haruka, Naoto, and Raquel met on the school rooftop and talked about family. In the evening, she decided to go shopping until time had suddenly stopped for... they decided to go shopping until time had suddenly stopped for Naoto and everyone had disappeared. Expecting to see the mysterious girl again, he was instead met by Clavis, who explained phenomena intervention. The vampire asked why Raquel had chosen him for her servant, and then asked what he would do with the Azure. Naoto gave his answers. He does not know, and that he wants to return to being human. Clavis changed the scenery and explained Raquel's origins as well as his battle with Soul Eater. The two agreed that in the eventual future, they would have to fight for the Azure. Oh, Naoto's definitely going to lose. I forgot Clavis died. I forgot Clavis is dead. Soon enough, Naoto was released from the intervention. Finding that Raquel berated him in the supermarket, Raquel sends a remnant and the two rushed to the location. When they arrived, they found Saya fighting against Valkenhayn. Naoto interrupted and kicked the lycanthrope in the face. The two began to taunt one another, goading each other into another fight, but they were interrupted by Spinner, who had arrived and kidnapped Saya, taking her to the rooftop of a nearby building. Raquel used her drive to get both herself and Naoto onto the roof, and they saw Saya encased within a large bug. Angered, Naoto attempted to fight Spinner, but was met by the insect instead, which was designed to fight Clavis himself. Although he killed Saya to stop the Soul Eater from going haywire, he relented, instead of finding inner strength and ripping the insect's arms off. Raquel used her drive to throw the corpse onto Spinner. Briefly recuperating, Naoto had saved Saya, but Spinner's plan was not over as he grabbed Raquel and they fused into a grotesque monster. With his bond with Raquel weakening, Naoto's right arm turned back into blood. Spinner attacked, cutting off Naoto's right leg and left arm, leaving the teenager on the floor. With the power of regeneration, his limbs were not growing back and he was dying in his own blood. In a strange turn of events, a black fog came out of his limbs and formed new limbs. Activating Bloodedge, Naoto created a large scythe and struck several times at Spinner, greatly hurting him. See, I want to know if that was I wonder if that could have been Naoto's Edge of Eternity astral. That would have been sick. Like his Edge of Eternity actually come into play later. That's kind of cool. Anyway. Naoto ran to the monster and dragged Raquel out of the fusion. Naoto's right arm returned to normal, but he lost his temporary limbs as Raquel rushed to his side. Regeneration kept the boy alive. Spinner was not dead, but he had been corrupted by opening a portal to the boundary moments earlier. Before the corrupted mage could kill the duo... he had been corrupted by opening a portal to the boundary. Did he turn to an Arcune? I bet he turned to an Arcune. Anyway, before the corrupted mage could kill the duo, Kiro arrived and finished off the mage, his corpse being dragged into the boundary. Kiro ran to Naoto and held his head, crying and apologizing for being so late. She then attacked Raquel, but the vampire was saved by Clavis. The situation diffused and Naoto fell unconscious. Sometime later, Naoto awoke in a hospital. Raquel and Haruka stood over him, the latter crying and calling him an idiot. Raquel explained that Spinner was absolutely destroyed by the boundary, although Naoto did not understand much about the dimension. He discovered that he had a new left arm and a right leg, which were fashioned for him by Relius. Kiro came into the room and explained the situation with his new limbs and then undressed. Although initially reluctant, Naoto looked and saw the multiple scars and marks. The woman revealed that she was an artificial human. All of her sisters had been killed by Spinner, and she was made from their remaining parts. Kiro offered Naoto a chance to join the Mitsurugi agency, but he refused. Raquel stayed with Naoto, and he promised to help her find the Azure. Now, we're not done yet because we still have Naoto's story in Central Fiction to get to, which I always forget. God damn it. Now, I was debating on whether or not to actually look at the arcade stuff for Naoto, but I'm going to skip over that for at least this video. So, like, I might cover another video, but I might skip over this video because there's like some things I want to talk about with Naoto in another video. Anyway, the story mode for BlazBlue Central Fiction says, Raquel sent Naoto on a mission to save every possibility in his own world. He was flung into many different possibilities through the boundary before he finally landed in the embryo's version of Bascule in the 13th hierarchical city of Kagatsuchi. He wondered if anyone would understand his words and if anyone would attack him. Initially unaware of his own objective, he prioritized finding Raquel. While looking around, he bumped into Celica A. Mercury and Ex Machina Minerva and asked them for directions, but they too were new to the area. God damn it. After describing Raquel to them, they mistook it for Rachel, and the three of them decided to travel together within the distorted hierarchical city. Naoto was transported along with Celica and Minerva to the Ikaruga Federation, and together they heard Nine the Phantom's voice telling them to kill Izanami to claim their piece of the Azure. He followed Celica as she ran to find her sister. Eventually, they arrived at the 6th hierarchical city of Yabiko. He listened to Celica talk about her sister. They decided to travel further into the city, only for him to lose her in the crowd. However, he caught a glimpse of Rachel and pursued her, having mistook her for Raquel. After catching up to her, Naoto began asking her questions that she was unable to answer. In response, Rachel became instantly hostile and forced him in a battle for his life, which he eventually managed to win by using Bloodedge. Valkenheim, now much older than he had been the last time Naoto had seen him, arrived to protect his mistress. Naoto prepared to fight again, but he was teleported away to the gate where he was assaulted by S. After fighting her and losing, Naoto was thrown out of the gate. It's like, yeah, fight Rachel, then see Valkenheim, then go to the gate, then get pushed out of the gate by S. Like, it's like, damn, Naoto, what's going on? Oh, I get beat by this little girl, and boom, get knocked back out again. Oh my god. Anyway, finding himself still in Yabiko, Naoto chanced upon Ragnar the Bloodedge, fighting him when the Grim Reaper would not release information on Celica's whereabouts. They recognized one another's drives and became confused over claims of who was Saya's older brother, now Ragnar referencing Saya, and Naoto referencing Saya Terumi. I cannot say the word referencing right. Referencing. Damn. Naoto retreated when he remembered he had other, more important things to do. Kokonoe found Naoto in her own home and wanted measurements from him. She fought him to obtain those measurements, but afterwards noticed that she couldn't track him back due to his possibility. Naoto explained to her the situation and that he needed her help, but her single-mindedness scared him away. Eventually, Makoto Nania found him. She strongly reminded him of Yuki, and they traveled together to the frozen space-time within the embryo to search for Makoto's friend, Noelle Vermilion. Inside, they were assaulted by S, who had come to back up Makoto's data as she had lost her qualification as one of the Chosen. Makoto begged Naoto to run as he was one of S's targets for elimination. He complied, receiving a telepathic order from Raquel to go to Kagatsuchi's cauldron. On his way there, he was met again by S, who informed him that Makoto had evaporated into Seether. Naoto nearly attacked her in a blind rage, but soon stopped at the last moment when she did not attempt to move out of the way. She revealed to him that he was the future while she was the past. You know, it reminds me of that shit from when Ramathal said in Guilty Gear X, it's like, the future is the past. Anyway, arriving at the cauldron, he saved Rachel from being tossed into the boundary by Hazama and stopped Ragnar from killing the Grimoire. By stopping Ragnar, he managed to save all possibilities as Raquel had requested and returned back to his own possibility. When he woke up, Raquel offered her outstretched hand to help him back on his feet. It's kind of weird that I always thought that was a weird thing. It's like, yeah, I get maybe Ragnar turning to the Black Beast again, like being erased and progressing to the Black Beast would have been a bad thing. But I feel like, you know, sparing Hazama for some reason to stop all possibilities from being messed up is weird, you know? But again, we'll probably know later. Now, I will say this. I did read Raquel's profile before I even started this part of the video. And considering that Raquel mostly sticks to Naoto and her stuff is kind of his stuff, I kind of don't want to explain too much of it. I will get to some of the points that I believe that are important, but as for rereading all the stuff that involves her and Naoto, I will not. So, Raquel Alucard is a vampire and the daughter of Clavis Alucard and the master of Naoto Kurogane. She is a straightforward young woman who seeks the Azure. Although she seldom shows it, Raquel is rebellious and has a kind heart, although she will often get confused at anything informal. Yes, she will. All right, let's go look at some goddamn profile in here. Actually, let's look at her. Look at her. It's Rachel, but with the RTX on. But anyway, species, vampire, age 2. Well, that's depressing. Hair color, blonde. Eye color, red or amber. And her drive is Tempest, and she was born in the Boundary, and her affiliation is the Alucard clan. Alrighty, let's keep on. Personality, shameless. I like how the personality is like shameless. Anyway, I'm sorry. Raquel is often seen parading around naked, feeling no need to wear clothes. She does not care about what human society would think about her, and so often does she pleases without thinking of the immediate consequences. Just has gradually softened over time. Raquel's also rebellious, going directly against Clavis' wishes many times and has sought her freedom to become her own individual. Initially, Raquel did not think much of humans thanks to Clavis' upbringing. She thought of them as being cowardly and would sacrifice anyone to save their own skin. Naoto has gradually helped her see humans in a different light. Raquel seems to have no problem using slave red to enforce her will on others. Whenever she is around a female, Raquel has strong panic attacks. The more feminine the woman, the worse the panic attack. As she spent more time around women, mainly Haruka Hayami, she has gradually managed to deal with the attacks. She, however, still struggles with new people and very feminine women like Kiro Hikagami. Because of her education and little interaction with the real world, Raquel has trouble understanding colloquiums. I can never say that word, colloquiums. It can often get confused with anything remotely sexual, although she does despise his comments on her chest. She is pure in the sense that she does not quite understand romance or anything related to it, but she longs for real familial bonds. In her spare time, she can be found reading books for more knowledge, although some of them contain questionable information, such as Definitive Edition. This is the true blood type fortune telling. Part 7. Her relationship with Naoto is unique. Although she does not show it, she cares greatly about him, but the relationship is still that of a master and servant. She does not care about God damn it. She does not care about seeing him naked, saying that he is no different than a dog. However, the two are still extremely close, even though she consistently embarrasses him. That's very wholesome. Not, but still, whatever. Powers and abilities. As a vampire, Raquel has some of their signature abilities. She can turn others into her kind through a single bite, has supernatural physical strength, and can use Slave Red, a powerful sorcery technique that allows someone to enforce their will on others. Raquel also has the ability to melt into the shadows of others, become intangible, and uses it to rest. Damn, I wonder if Rachel could do that. Like, what if she had the ability to just fuse with the shadows? That'd be sick. Anyway, her strength as a vampire is often demonstrated as she walks openly in the sunlight. Something that many of them something that not many of them can do. Raquel has a unique ability to sense the azure as well as its remnants in a fashion similar to a radar. Raquel's drive is Tempest, which is the complete dominion over the wind. She can conjure strong gusts out of nowhere, which can easily throw even the heaviest of opponents. Raquel will occasionally use this to fly great distances and can even carry around 70 kilograms with her while doing so. Raquel is also a practitioner of sorcery, using various circles to amplify her power, and in certain situations she will cast protective sorcery to help her on the defensive. Information of Raquel's the strongest point, however her education was streamed into her head from the boundary. She has stated that she has 5 billion times more knowledge than that Naoto, although this was most likely a demeaning brag. Raquel can also take the personal information of others by sucking their blood. She can share her life force with others and construct fully functioning limbs out of her own blood. However, Raquel has some weaknesses. She cannot fight against women because of her anxiety, and her drive is a combative by nature. Her confidence has also led her into some trouble with underestimating opponents, and her knowledge only extends to formal subjects. She will be caught off guard by anything else. Alrighty. Let's go to Raquel, baby. Yeah, let's learn some trivia about the girl. Okay, I already know about the trivia polls. I want to talk about that. Raquel's drive is functionally identical to Rachel's, although they have different names. Raquel's is Tempest, while Rachel's is named Sylphide. They're the only known users of Slave Red. If Amari's Nichiki's Astrophy is used on Naoto, then Raquel will appear on top of him, sipping away at tea. So yeah, I knew that one. And also, Raquel's moveset in BlazBlue Alternative Dark War has a naming motif based around flowers and dancing. I guess I will check out some of her biography, mostly her origins, because again, most of her biography is pretty much the same as Naoto's because they stick around each other and do their own thing. So I would just mostly look at her origins to cap out her part of the video. Raquel was created when a user of Soul Eater went havoc and killed hundreds upon thousands of people. Clavis Alucard stopped the user and killed them, but was forced to take the lives of 128,932 people in order to do so. Why specifically that number? I don't know. Maybe I'm just trying to read too hard in it. Anyway, when this happened, he held an embryo. 3 years later, the embryo became Raquel, and she was born. When Raquel awoke, she was inside a coffin with Clavis looking down upon her. He named her, and in the first months of her life, he taught her everything he knew. In the months afterwards, he connected her spirit to the boundary, and she gained even more knowledge. This causes Raquel great pain and suffering until it finally ended. When she turned 2, which is It's so weird to say that. When she had turned 2, Raquel ran away from the Alucard Castle and made her way to Shinkawa City, Japan. She began to search for the Azure, being naturally drawn to it, and being chased down by both Clavis and Spinner Superior, the former mage. And that's pretty much all I gotta say about Raquel's on that one. Honestly, really, it's pretty much all the same. Yeah, it's pretty much all the same. You know, she joins school, she causes Naoto's havoc, she gets in the fights, you know, so it's pretty much, you know, the same. It's pretty much the same. And now we are on Haruka Hayami, aka Miss Incest is Wincest. Haruka Hayami is the cousin of Naoto, Kurogane, and Terumi, and the daughter of Yuki Hayami. She is a member of Shinkawa first high school student council and is Naoto's childhood best friend. She is also romantically interested in him because why not? Although she can be silly, now Haruka is the one person that keeps Naoto calm. Her life force hovers around 10,500 or 10,500. I don't know how to say the numbers of the damn life force value, but hey, look, we got her. Just chilling. Incest is Wincest. Just Wincest. Bright and cheerful at all times, Haruka is usually happy and is always willing to talk to someone, especially Naoto. She has no problem waking up early every day to wake him up and cook for him. Haruka takes her position on the student council rather seriously and will dedicate her free time after school hours on a project that's needed. She seems to excel in her studies, yet can be rather silly at times. She cares greatly for Naoto and will go greatly out of her way to help him. Her feelings for him are romantic, and she desperately wants him to make a romantic move toward her because, I've been saying this a lot, why not? When she's scared for her life, Haruka will call out Naoto to save her. When she spends time with Naoto, Haruka gets much happier, and any compliment from him will make her life force value increase. Again, they didn't have to add I guess BlazBlue's tradition is the incest, huh? Can't break tradition, ha 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 ha! Alright, so I'm probably gonna speed run through this because I don't wanna, freaking say the same shit again and again. I'm gonna get to the part where, anything changes with Haruka. Let's see, okay. Here we go. In the evening, because this is after the apartment shit gets wrecked. Naoto gets his apartment wrecked. In the evening, Haruka made tea for Naoto and Raquel. The boy fell asleep in her lap, and Haruka sung a nursery rhyme to him as he laid there. He awoke and they talked about where Naoto will be staying, getting closer and closer as they did. They were about to lean in. Wait, they? Oh, okay. So Naoto also, I always thought that, Haruka was but no, it's freaking Naoto and her. Wow, okay, that's just as wrong, but okay, whatever. They were about to lean in for a kiss, but were interrupted by Raquel, who pointed out that Yuki was standing in the frame of the door. Haruka asked her mother if Raquel could... Does Yuki not care? It's will you try to kiss your cousin, boy? I mean, girl, damn. No, I was right. I can say that. She can say that now. It was you trying to kiss your cousin, boy? Haruka asked her mother if Raquel could stay in the flat, and she was met with a yes. She dragged Raquel away so they can go get some sleep. Honestly, there's literally nothing I could say. Oh yeah, there's a Taiyuki stuff, my bad. Taiyuki approached Raquel as she was finishing her duties. He called her attractive and lunged towards her, begging the teacher to call him a pig and handing her a whip. Gross. Scared, Haruka desperately tried to escape, but all the doors were locked. The teacher began to forcibly strip her, and she screamed for Naoto to save her. Miraculously, he did, busting through the door and kicking the teacher in the face. Haruka cried herself to conscious in Naoto's arms, and he carried her to a nearby bench. Haruka was carried back home by Naoto after he defeated the apostles the teacher had become. Haruka is so weird. There's also the teacher stuff, and she's also in the incest, and what is Bloodedge experience, dude? It's it just feels wrong to read, just to read through this half the time. Time for Saya Terumi. I mean, honestly, Saya Terumi is going to be the first person I start off with in this video, but I kind of wanted to get to her next. Saya Terumi is the current host of Soul Eater in the Bloodedge Experience Possibility. She is a member of the Amano Hokusaka clan and the younger sister of Naoto Kurogane. Saya is a perfect killer who struggles to keep her drive under control, and yearns to revive the Terumi branch of her own clan after she murdered them all through the Bloodedge. Oh yeah, I forgot. I didn't even read the profile of Haruka. Whatever. Species, human, age 13. Well, that's ultimately depressing. Gross. Voice actors, Yukana. Hair color, purple. Eye color, red. Dry, Soul Eater, and affiliation to the Amano Hokusaka clan. Scrolling down. Oh yeah, no. I gotta go to personality. My bad. The freaking appearance thing was so short. I didn't even know I was scrolling down so far. Personality. As a child, Saya was weak, quiet, and shy. She was proud of her clan to the point that Naoto thought she was almost obsessed. After the incident, she was confined in the Amano Hokusaka household. Because of this, Saya doesn't have any friends. She doesn't go to school, nor studies or plays. She spends most of her life in isolation. That poor girl. Saya's relationship with Naoto is odd. The two are estranged, but they both feel a familial connection, caring for one another to some degree. Saya's feelings, however, are twisted, as she only wants to kill Naoto to claim the Eye of the Hunter. With it, she plans to revive her clan. She has apathetic feelings over her mother, and she does not seem to care about Haruka or Yuki. Because, of course, she doesn't. As the current host of Soul Eater, Saya is remarkably powerful and shows great control over the drive. Usually the drive is an aura that drains the life force of everyone in her vicinity, but Saya has such control over it that she only needs to touch someone to activate it. Furthermore, should she kiss someone, then she will take a person's life force far more rapidly, because of course, you know, Japan, damn it. Even when she was only 8, Saya's drive was strong enough to wipe out the entirety of her clan. Saya's drive is not her only strength, however, as she is a incredible swordswoman who wields her katana with daily proficiency. Her strikes are fast, deliberate, and powerful, being able to land blows on both Raquel and Valkenheim. Physically, she's strong enough to lift Naoto by his throat. An interesting technique that Saya can employ is to vastly improve her speed and strength, allowing her to outpace and nearly defeat Valkenheim. There is only one drawback, in that the technique will greatly tire her after 3 minutes. Saya is also hindered by her naturally frail body, meaning that she needed to use Soul Eater to regularly keep up her strength. Alright, let's go look at some goddamn trivia, damn it. Saya is alluded to and mentioned 3 times in BlazBlue Central Fiction. When Naoto first met Izanami, he mistook her for Saya. Relius mentions to Izanami about a girl he once met in the past who was a monster and the basis for the 5th boundary interface prime field device. The description matches Saya exactly, and yes, it does, damn it. We need freaking Mori, talk about the 5th prime field device, goddammit. Anyway, when Naoto first met Rockin' the Bloodedge, the two of them ended up confused as their sisters share the same name. Because of course they do. Born to the Terumi branch, Saya was given martial arts training by her mother. When she was 8 years old, the parasitic drive, Soul Eater, latched onto her. The young girl went crazy, killing her father and every other member of the clan except her brother Naoto. This is Naruto all over again. Anyway, before Saya could kill anyone, well, I mean, she didn't do it on purpose, so, you know, there's that. Anyway, before Saya could kill anyone else, the head of the Amano Hokusaka clan, Mei Amano Hokusaka, intervened and kept Saya detained for the next 5 years within the main Amano Hokusaka the main Amano Hokusaka household. God damn, saying Amano Hokusaka so many times just freaking, ugh. Damn. Anyway, Mei eventually let Saya go under the pretext of being unable to control her much longer. She gave Saya okay, so here's what gets me, right? Here's what gets me. Mei let Saya go, saying that, okay, I can't keep her contained much longer, but was willing to give her a note so that Saya can give to Naoto. What kind of shit is that? Whatever. Anyway, she gave Saya I guess I have to read the actual, like, light novel to know, so there's that. Anyway, she gave Saya a letter for Naoto, and the young girl went to Shin Kawahama City to find her brother. She eventually arrived to her brother's flat, and the door was opened by her cousin Haruka. Haruka left to get Naoto from the living room, and the two siblings were finally reunited. Yeah, reunited. Saya was invited to Naoto's apartment and rejected Haruka's offer of black tea. She asked who Raquel was and the contents of the letter were. As soon as Haruka left with Raquel, Saya grabbed Naoto by the throat and pushed him against a wall, telling him how desperately she wanted the Eye of the Hunter. She began to drain his life force, but she noticed that something was odd until Raquel came bursting back into the room and used her drive to push the siblings apart. Saya drew her blade and lunged towards Raquel, drawing the vampire's blood. She learned that Naoto had already been killed once and relented on attacking again instead of leaving, claiming that she only had arrived to deliver the letter. Man, I feel sorry for BlazBlue in relationships. BlazBlue has, like, no good... Like, when you look at BlazBlue, there are no, and I repeat, no good relationships. Like familiar relationships, at least. None. Like, at all. Ugh. At some point, Saya ran to an apostle and murdered him using the Soul Eater and her sword. The corpse was later found by a suspended superior. Soon enough, Saya found Valkenheim R. Helsing and Relius Clover attacking the forum for the sin of killing Naoto. I bet, like, if we get more of Saya Terumi, the whole thing is like, I'm supposed to kill my brother. Me, I'm the one supposed to kill him. Like Jin. Anyway, The fight was grueling, although it leaned heavily in Saya's favor as she attacked with a technique that allowed her to amplify her speed and power. After several minutes had passed, however, Saya was too tired to fight the trade-off for the technique. Even though she had activated her drive, Saya was about to lose, only for Naoto to come to the rescue. Wait, did I read that right? Only for Naoto to come to her to rescue. Goddamn, I knew I didn't read that wrong. Anyway, before the new brawl can ensue, Spinner arrived and kidnapped Saya. As Saya had been kidnapped, she was encased in a large insect created by Spinner. The girl was unconscious, her drive being allowed to run rampant. After a long fight, Raquel and Naoto defeated the bug and Saya was allowed free. The fight with Spinner, however, was not over, and the chaos that followed, Relius and Valkyrie kidnapped the girl. They took her back to the Mitsurugi agency and kept her contained. I wonder if this whole thing about Saya being taken away into the Mitsurugi agency is going to come to play later. Because God, I hope it does. That'd be kind of sick. Okay, so after Spinner's Superior, there's still like a couple more characters. I think maybe a couple more characters I got to go through before I'm actually done with the characters, and still have to go to the terminology. So, Spinner's Superior. Spinner's Superior is a mage from the magical city of Ishana. He is a talented mage who is rumored to have been the closest to the Azure, and specializes in magic and sorcery that focuses on insects and darkness. Insects and darkness. I wonder how that sounds. Look at this guy. Look at this fool. He could pass for like some like Terumi mixed with freaking Arcune. Like holy shit. Anyway, species human, hair ash, drive unknown. Oh yeah, we don't know his drive if he has one. Ooh. Anyway, personality. Spinner is unusual with a hard to describe personality. He lusts after the Azure and Raquel Alucard, romanticizing the both of them. Although he would act like a gentleman to Raquel, he is anything but and will throw insults towards others, not being afraid of saying the cruelest things he can to them. Just give it a minute. This guy will be in Bloodedge. This guy will be in alternative Dark War sooner or later. Just give him a minute. Anyway, as well as this, his behavior towards Raquel when he is not around her is derogatory and vaguely sexual, expressing an intense desire to experience her with all of his senses. Wow, that is so wrong. The mage is dark and twisted. Spinner believes his powers to be far above that of others, expressing a confidence that could be described as hubris. Powers and abilities. Described as an exemplary mage, Spinner is gifted with sorcery. He can effortlessly take on and defeats numerous members of Sleipnir, the Mitsurugi Agency's personal army. In combat, his main method of attack is with dark sorcery that can swallow individuals and chew them until nothing remains. Well, that sucks. This darkness is intangible and can be cut down with certain methods. It functions similar to a liquid. A liquid darkness. I wonder what that sounds like. And insects, too. A Spinner can heal most wounds, with insects appearing whenever a wound stitches itself together. Spinner's insects are a large part of his identity, as he uses them to track and spy on others, as well as create apostles, various men directly under his control. There are various bugs he has under his control, with one of them being designed to take on a Glavis Alucard. This alone is a testament to the skill that Spinner possesses. Wow. Spinner could be the boss, if I cared. Formerly belonging to the Magic Guild, being an exemplary mage, Spinner's lusted after the Azure and is rumored to have come the closest to it. Because of this, he left Ishanan society and set his sights on Raquel Alucard, a vampire who can sense the Azure. He ventured to Shinkawahama City and created several apostles to help reach his goal. Among them was Tadayuki Issa. At some point, he came into contact with the Mitsurugi Agency and Kiro Hikagami. During October, Spinner had been tracking Raquel throughout Shinkawahama, eventually tracked her sent down to an arcade. Putting his hand on a concrete wall, he saw various sorcery runes appear. A message written by Raquel that asked if the mage could defeat Naoto Kurogane, she would become his. Oh, Lord. Interested in this invitation, Spinner crushed the bug that had led him to the message, and he licked the wall. Gleefully expressing that he would love to lick her directly. I can't believe I said those words, and that he would prepare the best insect for her. I can't believe those words came out of my mouth. But hey, look at Spinner. Can't believe I said those words, but okay. Anyway, what was I doing? Oh yeah, a night in Shinkawahama's first high school, Spinner had tracked Raquel down. He engulfed one of the corridors in pure darkness and effortlessly defeated an entire squadron of Mitsurugi Agency soldiers. He introduced himself to Raquel, calling her beautiful and wishing that there was a full moon he could see her under. The mage asked where Naoto was, ignoring the fact that the student was standing directly in front of him. After Raquel grabbed the poison, Spinner sent him careening into the nearest wall, screaming at him to never touch her again. So, like, Spinner is like the ultimate simp. Anyway, summoning another gulf of darkness, he prepared to kill the boy, but was interrupted by Kiro, who cut down his darkness with her drive. After calling Kiro a mosaic, the two began the fight. Spinner dodged the majority of her attacks until he was nicked by her drive. The wound stitched itself together, and the two of them exchanged more insults. Upon Raquel's insistence, Spinner left, agreeing that he only arrived to greet Raquel and to not greet Raquel and did not kill Kiro. The mage disappeared as quickly as he arrived. Later that same week, Spinner arrived in an apartment complex and found one of his bugs cut into tiny pieces. After complimenting the cleanliness, damn, I cannot say that word. Okay, that's a lot of C's, I gotta say. After complimenting the cleanness of the cuts. Let me say that again. After complimenting the cleanness of the cuts, he noticed that the Soul Eater drive had been used as well, and gleefully exclaimed that the Azure must be calling to him for such a thing to happen. Let's see here. Man, Spinner is a weird one, you know? Like, I would totally want to see him in, like, other BlazBlue media if, you know, I mean, he's dead now, but, like, Alternative Dark doesn't care if you died or not. You're just summoning him back with some shit. Anyway, Spinner later... The name, Spinner Superior. Like, that's a name right there. Spinner Superior. Like what the shit? It's like, well, you know what's a Spinner Superior? A Beyblade. Anyway, Spinner later sensed a battle between the Soul Eater user Saya Terumi and Valkenheim R. Helsing, a lycanthrope belonging to the Immortal Breakers. He kidnapped Saya, took her to the top of a building complex, and looked back at the crowd he had kidnapped her from. The people within it being Raquel, Naoto, Valkenheim, and Relius Clover. Spinner then created numerous sorcery circles and amplified his own power, and had encased Saya within a massive bug, taking over Soul Eater and using it to absorb the souls of everyone around the building he had arrived in. Naoto and Raquel caught up to him and learned of his plan for Soul Eater and the fusion of himself and Raquel. Naoto attempted to fight Spinner, but the mage just let his giant bug do the fighting for him while he mocked Raquel. Spinner told the duo that the bug was designed to explicitly to fight Clavis Alucard, hence its incredible strength, speed, and the ability to damage the soul. To his shock, the duo defeated the bug and freed Saya, but Spinner used his power over darkness to absorb Raquel during the confusion. Together they had formed a grotesque creature, Spinner's torso being the upper half and the lower half being that of a massive spider. Spinner opened the gate to the boundary and had nearly attained his goal of getting to the Azure, but Naoto had activated his drive, Bloodedge, and cut Spinner down. Raquel was torn out of the fusion by the boy, and Spinner was left on his deathbed. The circle he had created earlier had forced him too close to the boundary, and the mage's body began to rapidly mutate without Raquel within him to maintain his connection. He unleashed a blood-curdling stream begging for the Azure. Although he was losing his recognition, he unleashed more bugs until Kiro arrived and she finally killed him with her drive. The remainder of Spinner's corpse were dragged into the gate of the boundary. Man, that was a lot to read, but damn, poor Spinner, you know, poor, sad, gross-ass Spinner Superior. Freaking, he probably blobbed out into an Arcune, like Azure, and then exploded, and just like, well, just kick his body into the boundary. Alright, Kiro is going to be the final character I actually look at for this video, because honestly, there's like characters like Ameyamano Hokasaka and like minor characters like Kana Kirishima and Tadayuki Issa. I honestly don't feel like looking them up because I don't think they really matter in regards to this video. But let's do Kiro and then we're done with this little video. Well, we're not done with the video, I still got terminology, but we're done with the characters at least. Kiro Hikagami is a high-ranking member of the Mitsurugi Agency in the last dimensional boundary Contact Prime Field S, being the 7th model. Well, that's a new terminology I gotta look up. She is a young woman who obsesses over Naoto Kurogane and will do anything for his affection and desires. She wills the Murakumo unit. So basically, she's like, what? Alternate possibility of new? New is she got a job. Damn it. Sorry for that random cough. Oh god, I freaking laughed so hard I started coughing. Anyway, let's move on. Move on. To her subordinates, Kiro comes off as calm and professional, but this drastically changes whenever she's near Naoto. She will do anything to get close to him and will invade his privacy or personal space to get close to him. That seemed weird to read twice. She seems to be largely oblivious to his feelings in her pursuit for his affection. Kiro despises Raquel Alucard for being so close to Naoto and wishes to kill her, but is forced to relent because of Raquel's occupation and the fact that the agency needs her. Naoto gets the impression that Kiro is is a masochist. Damn, I'm gonna say masochistic. It doesn't matter, the same thing. Calling Kiro a mosaic is guaranteed to make her angry as could possibly be. She hates Spinner Superior for murdering her sisters and wants nothing more than his death. Kiro does have a softer side that comes to the surface when she talks about her sisters and her origins. Kiro's strength mainly lies in her drive, which is unnamed. With it, she can essentially cut through anything, including the liquid dark sorcery conjured by Spinner. When enraged, she can launch her drive multiple times in a mad flurry of slashes. When using the Murakumo unit, Kiro can hover in the air and conjure multiple blades of light. Given that she is a prime field device, it is possible for Kiro to be immune to the effects of Seether. For whatever reason, her heartbeat is in synchronization with Naoto's. Okay. Anyway, Kiro is not a confirmed member of the Mount Hokusaka clan's Hikagami branch family, which is weird because it's the same thing like with Terumi. It's like, yeah, there's a Terumi branch family, but he's not a part of that family. It's the same thing with like Kiro. I was like, what's the point? You know what I mean? I mean, maybe there's something later. You know, maybe there's something later that will come up about this, but I'm not banking on it. Anyway, when Naoto first meets New 13, he mistakes her for Kiro because, of course, he did. And Kiro's eye color is inconsistent across portrayals. They are amber in illustrations, but in the depiction on the BlazBlue 10th anniversary site, states that her eye color is red. All right, time for a goddamn biography, which won't be long. Kiro was made with the parts of the other dimensional boundary contact prime field S units that had been murdered by Spinner Superior. She was employed then by the Mitsurugi Agency. After the mass disappearing incident, Kiro was put in charge of the Immortal Breakers Valkenhayn R. Helsing and Relius Clover, and the three of them pursued Clavis Alucard. Kiro first appears when she entered Naoto's apartment, which had been destroyed in a fight involving Clavis, Valkenhayn, and Relius. She came to greet Naoto and apologized for the mess that Relius and Valkenhayn had created. Before she did so, she whispered into Raquel's ear that she wanted to dissect her, but would relent for Naoto's sake. Kiro told Naoto that she wanted to start a relationship with him, that she was aiming to exterminate Clavis, and the goal of the Mitsurugi Agency is maintaining world peace. She offered Naoto a place to stay in a motel, but was rejected when she wouldn't reveal if she would be staying there as well. Before she had left, Kiro asked Naoto what his drive is, but he was confused at the question. A few days later, in the dead of night, Kiro and a squad of Sleipnir agents arrived at Shinkawahama First High School. There, they recovered the defeated body of Tadayuki Issa. Kiro approached Naoto and explained to him that they would save his teacher's life by extracting the blood that was making him an apostle, and that they would keep the recordings that the apostle made of him in Kana Hiroshima. As she was about to leave, Spinner arrived for Raquel. He was about to deal a deadly blow to Naoto, but Kiro intervened, cutting down the attack with her drive. He called her a mosaic, and Kiro exploded with rage, launching a wild fury of drive attacks until she finally scored a hit on the Major's body. She screamed that she would kill him right where he stood. Raquel diffused the situation and Spinner left. Kiro began to walk home, clenching her fists and crying. Kiro spent her time being tuned by the agency a few days after the incident with Spinner. Most of Spinner's apostles were also being hunted down with fervor. Fervor? Yeah, fervor. I have never actually thought I'd say that word in my life. Hunted down with fervor, with the assailant implied to be Kiro. Relius and Valkenhayn broke down a sorcery circle that was amplified by the power that Spinner was employing in his battle against Raquel and Naoto. Kiro finally arrived at the last second with her Murakumo to strike down Spinner, who had been corrupted by the boundary. As she descended to the battle, she struck the mage down several times with her blades. She rushed to Naoto's side and cried as she held his hand. The battle with Spinner had severely maimed the boy. She turned to Raquel and blamed her for everything that had happened. In her anger, she raided her drive and Murakumo once more and threw her attack. It was blocked by Clavis, who calmly told Kiro to retreat if she didn't wish to die. Understanding that she stood little chance, Kiro backed off. Kiro later visited Naoto in hospital. God. See, I was about to say in the hospital, threw me off. It doesn't say in the hospital there. Anyway, she wore a large coat, and after explaining the source of his new limbs, she took off, explaining that she was naked underneath. She asked the teenager to look and revealed her origins to him. She then offered an invitation to join the Mitsurugi Agency, but upon the rejection, remarked the two of them would be enemies as they both pursued the Azure. And that's Kiro. Kiro's done, and I'm done with all the actual characters of BlazBlue Bloodedge Experience. On to the terminology associated with you know what I mean. This terminology shit. The terminology associated with the damn series. Damn it, my head hurts. Alright, let's start with the Eye of the Hunter. The Eye of the Hunter is an ability possessed by the heir of the Terumi branch of the Amano Hokusaka clan. It allows the user to see the life force value of any individual. Naoto Kurogane is his current possessor. This ability allows the user to see ancient characters above a person's head, which numerically represents that person's life force value. The higher the number, the more life a person has. Typically, having a higher life force value means that someone is happy or strong. Most drive users have a high number. The lower number is the closer someone is to death, with hospital patients having little over 1,000, and the deceased having 0. When a person dies, the possessor of the eye can see a black noise consume the corpse. While this ability is similar to a drive, it does not fall into the same classification. Saya Terumi desires the eye of the hunter as proof of being the heir of the Terumi clan. Her obsession extends to wanting to kill her own brother just to attain it. Oh shit, values. Eye of the hunter number values as they appear in the BlazBlue Central fiction. Oh my god. Okay, let's see here. Let's look at the values. She's shown values. Cloud's Alucard is immeasurable because he's the no-life king, so there's that. Rachel's Alucard is 10 million, but was formerly 80 million. Raquel, my bad, yeah. Valkenheim has 2,394,211. Haruka has over 10,500, and it flip-flops from that to 10,512. Damn, Clavis has it really low. I mean, sorry, Relius has it really low. 9,152. Kana Kirishima has 9,006. Saya Terumi has 7,946. Constantly fluctuates because of her dry soul ear, which consumes the life force of others. Naoto had 0 because he died at a couple points, and he has formerly 9,810. Tadayuki Isa has 0. Formerly 925, and now has 1,007. And finally, Rachel Alucard has no number. That's no number for, okay. I wonder what that means, because she's a true immortal. Alright, time to talk about the Soul Eater. The Soul Eater is a unique drive that has the ability to absorb the souls of its victims. Sometime prior to the Dark War, the drive Soul Eater had been parasitic, latching onto different humans across the world. Clavis Alucard dedicated much of his life to taking out its wielders. It eventually found itself in the possession of Saya Terumi, who then wiped out the entire Terumi branch family of the Amano Hokusaka clan. Saya was bound for years by Mei Amano Hokusaka and other members of the Amano Hokusaka clan, rendering her drive inactive until she escaped. Rodden the Bloodedge gained this drive when he began to use the Azure Grimoire. He used it inside the embryo to take the dreams of the chosen and eventually create a new world with the dreams he had gathered. As the name applies, the Soul Eater devours the souls of those around it, using them to heal its wielder and strengthen their life force. The strongest possessors can't control Soul Eater, making sure to limit this aura solely to contact. Kissing a victim can drain their life force much more quickly. Soul Eater has difficulty regenerating wounds caused by Nox Nocturus weapons, especially those caused by Deus Machina Nirvana, because its claws were made from Kushinada's linchpin. I think the last bit of terminology I still have to cover is the Dimensional Boundary Contact Prime Field S, so might as well just do it now. Dimensional Boundary Contact Prime Field S are a largely defunct series of prime field devices that were murdered by Spinner Superior. Little information is available about this series of prime fields. 6 of them existed at one point, but were all murdered by Spinner in his pursuit of the Azure. Kuro Hikagami, the 7th in the series of prime fields, was made with the parts of her deceased sisters. It is possible for these prime fields to gain a drive and they can wield the Murakumo unit. The rest of their abilities are unknown, but it's likely they are immune to Seether given that they are prime fields. Given their name, they are possible they can store an embryo. I literally thought there was more than that. I literally thought there was more than that. Okay, so I remember reading yesterday for my BlazBlue Alternative Dark War video that they mentioned that obviously things that share the same name could be the difference in one possibility than another, right? So the Immortal Breaker is actually an ability that Tsubaki's Izoi has, right? That's able to kill beings who cannot normally be killed. But in BlazBlue Bloodedge Experience, the Immortal Breakers are actually a group. And it says that the Immortal Breakers are a group that are dedicated to the eradication of extremely strong individuals who pose a threat to world peace. Although they seem to be dedicated to the eradication of strong individuals, the Immortal Breakers are closer to a mercenary group than a company. And there they are. See, Relius and young Valkenheim and young Raelius. Anyway. The Immortal Breakers are closer to a mercenary group than a company. Within their ranks were once Valkenheim, are Helsing, and Relius Clover. They are said to be extremely expensive to hire since they have such talents. Members of the Breakers have joined for the large sums of money they gain from completing each assignment. Some also join for the thrill of battling the strongest existences. The Michirugi agency hired the Breakers to deal with Clavis Alucard after the mass disappearing incident. They repeatedly try and fail to defeat the vampire. Kuro Hikagami, a member of the agency, was put in charge of Valkenheim and Relius during the hunt. It is unknown what has happened to the Breakers just prior to the Dark War, as both Relius and Valkenhayn had left his ranks by this time. And so Valkenhayn says, join to fight strong souls, then he left, and Relius only joined for the money, and then he left. The mass disappearing incident was an event that had occurred 5 years prior to the events of BlazBlue Bloodedge Experience Part 1 and Part 2. It was a series of events that happened globally and involved the deaths of over 129,632 people. When the host of the Dry Soul Eater went havoc, they began to indiscriminately murder countless scores of people wherever they went. Clavis Alucard, a vampire and one of the strongest creatures alive, had enough of the drive and its power. He dedicated himself to destroying the drive. In doing so, he ventured across the globe, including Shinkawahama City, Japan. Clavis battled against the drive user and eventually killed him. In order to do so, he was forced to kill 129,632 people, but the reasons why are not specified. With the death of the user and with the souls of those sacrificed, an embryo was created. Every area in which people disappeared, they were cordoned off from the general public and abandoned. Nothing remained of those who died, only their clothes. The embryo created eventually became Raquel Alucard. Because of Clavis's role in the events of the incident, he was hunted down by the Mitsurugi Agency and the Immortal Breakers. The event itself seems to have been in vain, as the Soul Eater transferred to a new host the same year, Saya Terumi. With it, she murdered the entirety of her clan, bar Naoto Kurogane. Soul Eater and Clavis were never made aware to the public. In Shinkawahama, the place where Soul Eater was ended was in an area that was a series of apartments. The explanation given to the public was that a hospital on a nearby hill had a virus that escaped and melted everyone in the surrounding area. A virus got out and just everyone melted, and people believed that. Holy shit. The incident was named the mass disappearing incident, but the reality is that all 129,632 people were killed. So this is like the Watsumi, it sounds like the Watsumi incident thing from like X-Blaze, which is actually kind of interesting. I think this might be the last true thing I look up for this video, because I kind of don't, there's really nothing else related to Bloodedge Experience I have to look up. For example, something like the Mitsurugi Agency, I kind of just want to glide over that, because I'm like, I don't need to look up the Mitsurugi Agency just yet until I need to learn about X-Blaze, right? So, Shinkawahama City is a city in Japan and the home of Naoto Kurogane. It is the main setting for BlazBlue Bloodedge Experience Part 1 and Part 2. Shinkawahama is a large city with multiple points of interest. Shinkawahama First High School is one of the schools in the city, and there are also various schools in the area. A school bus system exists. Oh, when I was reading, I thought I was going to lead into something else. Damn. Anyway. There are numerous large apartment blocks across the city and several that are abandoned. A hospital used to exist on a hill near one of the apartment buildings, but a virus allegedly escaped and melted everyone who lived nearby, leaving only behind their clothes. You know, remember this whole, like, I remember, what was it, Dragon Ball? I remember when, like, Cell, he used to be able to suck people just right out their clothes. I know this is because of the whole mass disappearing incident, but I always think of just, every time someone says they get sucked out of their clothes, the first thing I think of is Cell. Like, I know it's a reference to a movie. I just can't remember the exact movie. But every time I think of it, I'm just thinking of Cell just, like, absorbing people right out of their clothes. Like, Cell existed in BlazBlue Bloodedge Experience and just... Anyway. My bad. Anyway. But a virus allegedly escaped and melted everyone who lived nearby, leaving behind only their clothes, which I cannot believe people believe that whole melting thing. That's... I mean, technically it could, but wouldn't the virus melt the clothes too? You know, like, isn't that weird? But whatever. Anyway, it is likely this was actually the work of Clavis Alucard in his mission to eradicate Soul Eater. Within the city, there is a large park and an arcade near its center. Down a dark alley is an adult store named the Department of Sexual Desire, which sells numerous adult items and its patrons. Oh, lordy lord. They had to add that? Nope. But they did it. Anyway, Yuki Hayame owns at least one entire apartment complex in the city and is a generous landlady to Naoto. And obviously we know the residents of this place, so we don't have to go over that. But yeah, I think that's the last thing I actually have to bring up about Shinkawahama. And I think I can end this video right now. I think that's it. Yeah. If anyone's stuck this long to watch this long ass video, just to watch me read terribly, I really appreciate it. It actually cheers me up significantly. So thanks everyone. I am out of here.